way to get this game on top. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce the team lineups for both teams. Let's start with the team Austria. They have played 2 games in this IIHF Championship. Lost both, but today, they have another chance to write a new chapter of the championship. The most productive players.
Řečice! Teď asi tě loupili, říkám.
Just want to walk out outside for a bit?
Come boys!
Number 20, Nico Brunner. Number 9, Ali Vukovic. Number 19, Vincent Renner. And number 52, Paul Huber. Head coach of Team Austria is Roger Paul. And assistant coaches, Christoph Brunner, Arno Makuto, and Markus Painter. Number 30, Joel Hofer. Number 50, Jordan Bennington. First line, number 25, Owen Power. And number 55, Jamie Alexia. Number 14, Dylan Gunter. Number 20, Nick Paul. Number 98, Connor Bader. Turn line, number 21, Caden Cooley. Number 78, Damon Sarson. Number 13, Brenton Tonnell. Number 17, Jack McBain. Number 18, Dawson Mercer. Dear hockey fans, please welcome on the ice, Team Canada! And please welcome as well, Team Austria!
Second game of the day here in Prague has Austria taking on Canada. The Austrians are 0-2 after losses to Denmark and Switzerland. Canada is 2-0 after wins against Great Britain and Denmark. Canada won the last meeting, was here in Prague in 2015, 10-1, the year that Canada won gold at the World Championship, and Austria was relegated in the cruelest of circumstances. The referees are Andris Ansus from Latvia, Lassi Heikkinen from Finland, the linesman Daniel Hinek from Czechia, and David Zundi from Latvia. Andre Tourigny, his third straight year as the head coach of Team Canada at the World Championship, also the head coach of the NHL franchise now known as Utah, moving in the offseason. And Roger Bader, fifth time as the head coach of the Austrian national team. He's a Swiss native. His son, Thierry, is here with Team Switzerland. Starting in goal for Austria, 31-year-old David Madlener. About 4 goals on 34 shots in their loss to Denmark. And there is Connor Bedard, the scoring sensation thus far in this tournament. With 4 goals in 2 games, he was applauded loudly by these Czech fans when the lineups were announced prior to this game. Owen Power, a gold medalist for Canada at the 2021 World Championship, one of 16 Canadians who's won a gold medal in at least one IIHF tournament, and added to the Austrian roster, Timo Nickel, will play his first game today. Jordan Binnington, the 30-year-old from Richmond Hill, Ontario, allowed 1 goal on 20 shots in Canada's win against Denmark on Sunday, a Stanley Cup champion with St. Louis in 2019. And there is David Madlener, who had an .856 save percentage in 3 previous games at the World Championship, plays for Vorarlberg in the Ice Hockey League, a collection of teams from Austria, Italy, Slovenia, and Hungary.
Jordan Binnington had a bit of an issue with his crease. He went and got the officials. They're doing a little housekeeping right on the lip of Jordan Binnington's crease. So
the arena has been very hot as the weather outside has warmed up. And so they seem to have solved the issues. Canada, as the home team, will wear its blacks.
I like the blacks. They look great looking uniform for Team Canada.
Canada has...
Okay, guys. No, you need to go back. Otherwise, I won't have sponsors for me.
And we finally get underway. Canada, we mentioned one in the last meeting. The one prior to that in 2004 was a 2-2 tie. A 20-year-old Thomas Vanek playing for Austria back then. That's the only point Austria's ever taken off Canada at the World Championship.
One game in the last 20 years, not a lot to go on as far as history goes. These games against Canada, they should feel comfortable against Austria. It's about establishing good habits and developing chemistry.
The Austrians did get a 2-0 lead on Switzerland, a 3-1 advantage in a wild game. The Swiss won with less than a minute to go on a power play goal by Nico Hischier. Brandon Tanev with a big hit there on Austria's Dominik Heinrich. Get used to it from Tanev, who has one speed, full. Tanev plays it across to Power, who chips that down. And the puck loose behind the Austrian goal. Most of these players play in the Ice Hockey League. And about a third of the Austrian players are products of the Red Bull Academy in Salzburg, which is also a greenhouse for prospects for Munich of Germany's DEL. So top prospects from both Austria and Germany go through there, and some other countries as well. Your old teammate Brian Savage had his son go there.
Yeah, Red was there. Actually, a couple of his kids were there. So these Americans coming in for that high-end training facility.
Mason
experience.
Mason McTavish from Canada, I think, was there for a while as well.
And Salzburg, as you said.
Worst places to be.
Yeah.
Damon Severson flips that back ahead to the Austrian zone. Austria trailed that game to Switzerland 5-4 in the third, equalized with under 5 minutes to go, then give up the heartbreaking goal to Hischier. And we mentioned in 2015 the Austrians were relegated. The only way they could go down would be if France beat Latvia in overtime. And that's exactly what happened. This is their 5th straight year in the top division with a little bit of an asterisk. They were relegated in 2019. There was no tournament in 2020. As Strong takes that shot and goes wide. They were re-promoted in 2022 because Russia and Belarus were kicked out and the top remaining teams were promoted. So Austria got back into the top division. A long shot taken by David Meyer, steered away. Last year, Austria narrowly avoided relegation. Finishing 14th, they beat Hungary in a shootout in their last game to survive. Brandon Hagel works that back across. Jamie Alexiak jumped up and plays it across to John Tavares, the Team Canada captain, dancing in the corner. Plays that back for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Hagel slides that back to Bowen Byram. For Alexiak, who's jumped up again. Canada changing on the fly as Dylan Cousins comes on. And here is Stephen Strong with it. His dad, Ken Strong, was a Philadelphia draft pick many years ago. Played parts of 3 seasons for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Stephen played his minor hockey in the Toronto area growing up. Played 4 years in the OHL and played 2 years at the University of Guelph. Cousins drops that back where it's picked up by Paul Stapelfeld. That long shot deflected down, save made. Rebound to Cousins, couldn't get a shot away. Andrew Mangiapane came streaking in, his shot was blocked. Michael Bunting got spilled to the side of the Austrian goal. Now parked right back in front as Mangiapane had his pass deflected away. Bunting got a taste of the bench in Canada's last game against Denmark for taking a bad penalty.
Well, Suslov, he lost his spot on the wing of Connor Bedard's line, which is a pretty attractive place to be.
In comes Tanev with it. That's poke checked away by Timo Nickel. He's a Pittsburgh draft pick who spent this year in Wheeling of the ECHL, their ECHL affiliate. And Nickel back to pick it up. And racing after him is Tanev. Thomas Raffel, the Austrian captain, played that at is knocked back down in the Austrian zone. Icing called against Canada.
Heinrich back on the ice after absorbing this heavy hit from Tanev. He uses his speed to catch him, finish him. Heinrich limped off the forward gate. He's got his bearings and is now back out there. A smaller defenseman. He has the puck quite a bit. He's going to be a target for forecheckers like Tanev.
Right. After this, Canada has Norway on Thursday, and then the climb gets steep. Finland Saturday, Switzerland Sunday, and the host Czechs to wrap up the preliminary round on Tuesday.
4 games to warm up and figure it out. Then you better be ready to play, because those other teams are further along where they're trying to get to than Canada is right now today.
Top 4 teams in each 8-team group advance to the quarterfinals, and the top 4 on this side in Group A are starting to separate themselves from the field. Norway with a 2-0 win over Denmark earlier today.
Not a surprise at all. There was a clear top 4, bottom 4 in Group A. No real upsets, although a couple close calls.
Brought back up by defenseman Caden Gooley for Jared McCann. McCann comes sweeping in. Drops it back to Gooley. And Gooley in deep for Canada. Nick Paul trying to knock that free. Kicks it loose. Paul back on it. Spins free. Throws it back in front and just missed McCann with that pass. Chip back out. And McCann snaps that pass rink wide for Gunther. That misfired and sent back down to the Canadian zone as McCann swings back. Here's Paul with it. And Paul got spun around as Manuel Ganal got his hand on him. Gunther wins that race to the puck, feeds that back to Paul. And now Paul with the steal. Took that away from Meyer and flips it back down to the Austrian zone. Back goes Ali Vukovic to pick it up. Played for Salzburg last year in the Ice Hockey League. They won their 3rd consecutive Ice League championship. That lead pass for Ganal missed, and icing called against the Austrians.
Breako with the A on. Don Tavares with the C, part of the leadership group. Severson and Mangiapane, and John Tavares made his debut fresh off the plane. He arrived the day before, played his first game of the tournament. And it probably takes 3 days to maybe get your body feeling somewhat normal after traveling over to Europe.
Now Power works in. Owen Power threads it back in front. That's poke checked away by Madlener. Kept alive by Dubois, who rattles that wide. Now scooped up by Colton Parayko. Back to Hagel. Brandon Hagel shoots. That's blocked. It bounces back to Tavares. And Tavares pivots back. Back down to Hagel. Hagel spins free. Looks down to Tavares. A little back pass there for Dubois. Missed, so it's chipped back down the ice by Ganal. And icing once again called. And right away, Canada switches the lines as Cousins, Bunting, and Mangiapane come out.
Canada will see a lot of that possession in the offensive zone, with Austria starting to pack back towards their net. They will serve to shoot the puck. Occasionally look for rebounds to break them down.
Off the face-off, Severson rolls that wide. And now picked up by Caden Gooley, the Montreal Canadian. Gooley brings that back around for Bunting. And Bunting plays it down to Gooley. Little backdoor pass is knocked away by Rohrer. Severson up for Cousins. And Cousins back to Severson. Across he goes to Gooley. Centers it for Mangiapane with a shot that's blocked by Strong. And blasting in is Cousins, who rips it home and gives Canada a 1-0 lead.
Dylan Cousins continues his strong international play. He likes to score goals playing for Canada. And 3 Austrian defenders get caught by the blue line, leaves a 3-on-2. Everybody chasing, and then Dylan Cousins takes the pass from Mangiapane and walks right into it. Strong goes down to block it. Multiple guys attracted to that loose puck on the shot attempt. And when it goes laterally to Cousins, he gets to step in and finish strong. And Canada gets out to the early 1-0 lead.
In 27 games for Canada at the World Junior and the World Championship, Dylan Cousins has now scored 19 goals.
Not quite Connor Bedard, but that is pretty darn good. He had a great World Championship a couple years ago.
I haven't seen a lot of Bedard so far.
He missed one shift because there was a long change that didn't get made on the right wing side, so he got passed over because they went to the fresh line.
In 2015, when the tournament was here, the arrival of Sidney Crosby caused a sensation, and there's a lot of Bedard mania here as well. Tanev banks that back to Byram. His shot is blocked as Mario Huber got in the way. Break wide pass to Ruffle. And back comes Tanev for Mercer. Austin Mercer, the native of Bay Roberts, Newfoundland, plays that back for Parayko. Parayko for Zellweger off the bench. Olin Zellweger shovels that down to Parayko. And Parayko back on it. Loose behind the goal. Marco Rossi of the Minnesota Wild knocked that loose.
Bedard out there now with his normal line.
And the Austrians ice it.
And Canada wants to have all their lines scoring, but given the success of Mangiapane previously in the World Championship, Cousins previously in this tournament, they're really hoping this line goes. And you know what's funny is Michael Bunting, he's bounced around a little bit. Wherever he's been, they've scored.
Yeah.
When he was on with Paul and Bedard, they scored. Now he comes down to Cousins and Mangiapane, and they're scoring. Not saying that goal is because of him, but if goals follow him around, he'll hang out with good company.
Ball for the face-off against Rossi. Who had a tough opening game against Denmark. He took a couple of bad penalties that a giveaway for a short-handed goal.
Nuanced rule, not allowed to win face-offs with your feet.
Right.
So Rossi scraped the stick, and in NHL you can kick it, cannot kick it in the face-off circle here.
Guy Carbonell just threw his coffee at the TV set hearing that. Here's Paul with it. And Paul loose in the corner. Looking down for Bedard. Now Gunther finds him. And here is Connor Bedard. That rolled off his stick, and Zellweger picks it back up. 3 of the 5 Canadian skaters on the ice have won a World Junior for Canada in the last 5 years. In fact, Zellweger, Gunther, and Bedard won it 2 years ago in Halifax. Not even 2 years. Here's Zellweger back with it. A very young Canadian roster, tied with Team USA for the youngest of the tournament.
I like the way that Olin Zellweger skates. He just gets himself in and out of trouble.
And Bedard has wheels knocked away. Zellweger for Gunther. Has a look back, drops for Bedard. Bedard back towards the goal. Gunther has the goaltender down, wraparound try, and Madlener got the pad on that. And away comes Rossi. Marco Rossi, a 10th or 9th overall pick of Minnesota in 2020. Missed almost an entire year due to the effects of COVID. As Bedard winds in, that's knocked down by Strong. And the Wild were concerned about Rossi's long-term future, but he's recovered. Had a good year this year. Scored 21 goals for them. Lead pass finds Hagel. In comes Hagel with room, shoots! And a save made by Madlener. Knocked down at center ice by Tavares. Lead pass again for Hagel. In comes Brandon Hagel spinning back. Shoots, that was blocked. Rebound loose in front for Tavares. He drops it back, and Gouli scores! And right away, Gouli points at Tavares for the pass, and it's 2-0 Canada.
Pretty good offensive tournament to start for Kaden Gouli. 2 points in this game, 4 in the tournament already. And 2 in a row quick up. First one was a 2-on-1 with Brandon Hagel. Shot, no goal. This time he wheels it forward. And where's all the defensemen? Everyone chasing and swinging away from the puck. And Tavares, great patience. Most guys would attack and wrap this home, but he draws the goalie and Rohrer in. And he puts it over to Caden Gooley, who almost apologetically dumps it in the top of the net to make it 2-0 Canada.
Caden Gooley, the native of Sherwood Park, Alberta. First-round pick of Montreal in 2020. The Western Hockey League playoff MVP in 2022 for the Edmonton Oil Kings.
A really solid year for Montreal. Asked to do a lot, play against the best lines and big minutes on a team that wasn't at the top of the league, but seemed like he was up to that challenge.
By the way, another Montreal draft pick, David Reinbacher, taken 5th overall in the draft last year, is not here for Austria. He had a long year playing in Switzerland and in Laval. He's nursing some bumps and bruises. Mangiapane works in as that pass by Bunting is broken up. There's another factor for Austria, and that is Olympic qualification. They're in a 4-team Olympic qualification tournament in August. There's 3 of them. They're in Slovakia, Kazakhstan, and Hungary. So Reinbacher would likely be asked to play in that. As that shot by Huber. Quick shot there by Binnington. They score! Austria cashes on the rebound. Mario Huber cuts the lead to 2-1. Might have been the last touch to Benjamin Nisner.
A good response for Austria. This game was teetering on getting out of hand early, and Nisner able to grab a rebound and tuck it home. Cole Byram loses body position. Cousins overskates a puck and back to the net. Byram, you're getting back there. You got to get someone's stick, and he ends up watching it as Nisner grabs the second rebound. Binnington makes 2 saves, but the second one just trickles through his legs. And Nisner is there to tuck it home to make it 2-1.
The 2 part of the Salzburg team has won the last 3 Ice Hockey League championships. So Austria gets back on within 1 goal. But that Olympic qualification tournament will be big for players from countries like Austria, because now the incentive is if your team wins it, you get a chance to play in the Olympics. That wasn't the case the last 2 tournaments. NHL players would get their team there and then not be allowed to go to the Olympics. As power goes back, icing called against the Austrians.
That would feel good for Nisner. So here's Bowen Byram. He's trying to chip it up to Cousins. And as he watches the play develop, he ends up helping on the shooter Huber twice and never really recovers to Nisner heading to the net. And Byram and Alexiak couldn't quite sort out that 2-on-2, which should not have been mounted to an easy goal against.
Back at the point is Pareko with a shot that goes off the foot of Thomas Raffel, the brother of longtime NHLer Michael Raffel. In comes Nick Paul. Paul back around for Gunther. In for Power. Dylan Gunther back for Paul. Trying to chip that back in front for Bedard. Now it's banked off the boards by Timo Nickel. And once again, icing called against the Austrians.
But they do understand the nature of the tournament. That first week is a build-up,
right,
to the second weekend, which is the tough opponent, which then leads into the knockout rounds when it gets, super serious, very much locked in on the task at hand. And there's anything really wrong with that. I mean, they're here in Europe. Prague, it's beautiful. They can see the sights and do different things. And when it's time to go, Canada has been able to build as the tournament goes along to try to peak starting this weekend coming up. But the reality when you play for Canada, you get everyone's best game.
Right, and
they're fired up for you as much as they can be.
Some of the comments, about the game against Great Britain, the 4-2 win.
And it's one of those no wins. You beat Austria 10-0. Well, good for you. You're supposed to. If it's 5-2, what's the matter with Canada?
And if you win 10-2, why aren't you smiling more? Here's Hagel. Works it back around. Hagel Puts it back across to Damon Severson. Works it in, shoots. That goes just wide. And the puck skips back down to Brandon Hagel.
Hagel's moving well in the game. He's skating off the puck. Lots of possession.
Tavares had that taken away. He was taken down by Hodem. Hodem had a busy day against Switzerland. Scored the 3-1 goal for Austria. Then scored the tying goal in the third. And that game they eventually lost 6-5. An unexpectedly wild game between two Central European neighbors.
They thought if that game was going to be close, it would have been 2-1.
Right. Puck knocked down by Manuel Ganal. Picked back up by Cousins. For Zellweger. In comes Cousins, drops it off to Mangiapane. To Zellweger, walks right in and shoots, and a glove save made by Madlener. Canada 2-1 lead here in the first period in Prague.
Guys, we can all proudly say we love ice hockey, we love the game, the entertainment, the competition, but right now we're bringing this all together because that is going to be much more vital here in the grounds. Let's get it all out for the official mascots. Pull and pull back!
Canada leads here in Prague, and Austria this hour. France with a 2-0 lead.
That's a big game because that could be for last.
Right.
In the other group.
Justin Adamo, who played this year in Wheeling of the ECHL.
Really knows well represented.
Has 2 goals. Played college hockey at Robert Morris University. Now Mangiapane on the face-off, and Madlener makes the save on that.
Well, Mangiapane has had a lot of looks to start this tournament. And he hasn't found the back of the net just yet.
Arrived after 3 games in 2021. He sat out a COVID protocol, not a quarantine, if you will, when he arrived in the country after Calgary had been knocked out. Scored 7 times. The Canada gold medal was named the MVP. That was a rollicking World Championship in Riga. Canada in the early hole. Well, that long shot floats wide from Zellweger. Zellweger had 2 assists in Canada's first game in 6 minutes of ice time. Cousins throws it back in front. It bounces back to Byram with a look. Decides not to shoot. His pass knocked away. Mangiapane tips it back to Byram. Here he comes again. Bowen Byram. Rink wide to Zellweger. Back for Byram. And Byram shoots the foot to score.
That caught Bunting, or it caught Huber.
He's all around it.
That's how he does it. It ain't pretty, but it's effective for Michael Bunting. Okay, Bowen Byram went off Huber. That's really nice movement between Zellweger and Byram. And good luck trying to close at the blue line on these guys. Zellweger is zipping it right back. You talk about his points. He's going to grab another one.
That might go off the Austrian player, Huber.
The hip of Huber. And you can see the pants bulge there, so good break. And Zellweger, in his points per 60 climb, grabs another one. And we've said this, I said it not jokingly, I would play him more right now. I'd like to see him get more ice time in this tournament. His skating is a real asset.
Now Nistner at the Austrian goal shoots, and Binnington makes the stop on that.
And you put Byram and him out there together. Now you got to de-pair that once they get the puck moving up the ice. And there's nothing Huber could do there. You boxed out Bunting, you pushed him, you're aside the net, you're not even in line with the posts. You've done everything you could. It's hard to also keep an eye on the puck that might hit you in the hip and get to the back of the net.
Face off, one back to Heinrich. Puts that back down. It's centered by Huber. Puck loose in front. Nissner with it. And Nissner plays it back down to Thomas Raffel. And here's Tanev with it. Brandon Tanev. Nifty backhand pass for Parayko, jumping in, chips it across to McCann. Jared McCann with some room, shoots!
Save.
And the glove save made by Madlener. 3-1 Canada leads at the 2024 World Hockey Championship in Prague.
Notino brings you the official makeup look. We give you a chance to try to do us also with our virtual mirror. Oh, what a great styling! Nice, beautiful! Choose your own colors as you like. That's for you.
Back here in Prague, it's Austria against Canada. Marco Rossi will step in for the face-off against Nick Paul. Two guys with Ottawa roots. Paul, of course, a former Ottawa Senator, and Rossi was the OHL MVP for the Ottawa 67s.
Rossi must look at Canada with all their NHLers and say, but that's who I play with.
Right.
He's a good player, but he's probably not good enough to take on a team like Canada on his own.
Right. Well, Austria has had a number of good players over the years. Thomas Vanek, of course, is a very good goal scorer in the NHL. Severson works in. Reinbacher's a highly prized Montreal prospect. That's fed back in front. And Bedard almost dug that free. Back to Gunther. Gooley for Severson. And Bedard back with it. Bedard gets crunched in the corner, but Paul comes in to help out. Bedard still being held there.
Huber a face wash and then some, trying to get out of the pin.
And Bedard now spun around by Bernd Wilf.
Cross check going to come up to Austria here. Marco Rossi, another penalty for Marco Rossi, who has been,
yeah, that's been an issue for him.
Accumulating them left and right. That is his third minor of the tournament already. And he comes in from the backside of the pile, not related to the Bedard scrum with Wolf. But he just walks in and there's Bedard battling. Jaw looks like it's in good shape. That's the one. That's a pretty good shove on Gunther.
Canada 2 for 9 on the power play. Dylan Cousins and Pierre-Luc Dubois have the Canadian power play goals. Austria's allowed 6 power play goals on 12 attempts by the opposition. In comes Tavares. Rink wide for Mangiapane. That was knocked away by Ganal. Here's Cousins back with it. To Tavares. Back for Cousins. Feeds it back across to Mangiapane. In front for Paul with a chance. He rolled that wide.
It was too open. I guess he didn't want to stuff it in the open side. He wanted to go back against the grain. That was some nice tic-tac-toe passing.
Away comes Byram leading the rush. Drops it off to Paul. Byram back for Cousins. Dylan Cousins. Down to Nick Paul. Backdoor feed for Tavares. He waits. Tavares back for Byram. Crisscrossing with Tavares. Byram threads that pass ahead, but it's knocked out by Paul Huber and into the Austrian bench.
So Nick Paul, who had a career year this year in Tampa, in large part because he stood right where he's standing on the Tampa power play. And almost like he didn't get his body turned around in time to one-touch it. Like any chip upstairs and it's in the net. Tried to go back against the far post, didn't quite wrap it in. See his frustration. He's really developed into a very good player.
Now Bunting taps that back to Zellweger on this Canadian power play unit. Here comes Bedard. Down to Dubois. Dubois was tied up. Sweeps that back to Bedard. Winds his way in and has a look. Down to Dubois. For Bedard. Bunting circling as well. Back to the point, Zellweger. For Bedard. Back to Zellweger. Has a look across. Bunting hops step the puck and gets a shot away.
That's the McKinnon pop out. You almost wait blindly for it to get a little.
Bedard could have thread that rink wide. Nisner got in the way. And now find a move down the ice by Staplefeldt.
The spacing of this power play interesting. Bunting in a high slot, but that's also in the lane that Bedard's looking to get to Gunther.
And now Bedard chips that in. Bedard chips it in deep. Zellweger knocked it down, couldn't find it for a moment. And now a hand pass called at center ice as Rossi steps back on the ice for Austria.
Nothing doing on the power play for Canada. Great attempt for McCall to try to build on the lead. Nick Cousins got one, then Caden Dooley got the second for Canada. And then one more on top of that as Bowen Byram banks one in off the Austrian defender to make 3 goals in the first for Canada. Sandwich around one from Benjamin Nisner.
3 to go here in the period. Long shoot in, knocked away, but on the stick of McCann. Goes back to Byram. Ridley Gregg is a healthy scratch for Canada again tonight. Yeah, with an extra forward after the arrival of Tavares. Berger tried to find Rossi with that pass. In 2015, when Crosby came late, it was Braden Shen who stepped aside graciously. Not an easy situation. Well, fit back in front for Rossi, just missed on that. Schneider with it. You saw that when you played for Canada the World Championship. They brought some players in late.
Yeah, about 3 Red Wings over Murphy and Draper and Maltby, 3 pretty good players, but one of the guys who had to sit out briefly was Brendan Morrison, who was one of our leading scorers and who had been in Russia for 3.5 weeks. It's a tough. Canada doesn't really do that anymore now. They leave spots open and communicate beforehand about what might happen.
Right.
We had Celebrini and Fantilli in Europe to start, but when Hagel, Paul, and Dubois and Tavares want to come over, they knew that they could hang out and be with the team, or they could go home.
Yeah.
But as long as you know beforehand, then you don't really complain about it. And the invitation to go out to the best Canadian players that could come over, Dubois being one of them, in large part because of what he did last time, 20 years ago when he was in this tournament, making the all-tournament team. 7 goals in 10 games.
Tavares won that face-off. He was 14-3 for Canada in his first game. Kick loose by Hagel. Back for Parayko. Colton Parayko lifts that down. And back to pick it up is Strong. Bounce at center ice. And Ganal with it. Poke check there by Hagel. Tavares. Rink wide for Dubois. Flips it up for Power. And now Dubois back on it. And a big hit in the corner as Hagel was buried there by Staplefeldt. And that pass by Cousins chips up and out of play. 1:10 to go here in the opening period. Canada 3-1 lead on Austria. plays it around.
It's on mine, that's all.
Here's Severson with it. Damon Severson plays it back in. Back around to Bunting. To Cousins. Getting knocked down in the lineup won't bother Michael Bunting much. It's been the story of his career, fighting for his spot. He rolled that wide. And brought out by Mario Huber. Full check there by Bunting, who chips it back out. Bunting, of course, began the year with the Carolina Hurricanes when he signed as a free agent, traded to Pittsburgh in the Jake Gensel deal. Reunited with his GM, Kyle Dubas.
One of the reasons that Evgeny Malkin went on a bit of a tear at the end of the season. Bunting and him combined nicely.
And Bunting a part of the story here in the opening period as Canada has a 3-1 lead after 20.
Good start for Canada. Did what they had to do. Much better with the puck. Still some things to clear up without it, but that will be the focus of the entire journey for Canada at the tournament.
You're watching the 2024 World Hockey Championship from Czechia.
Leading a 3-1 after the first 20 minutes. So now let's check the basic statistics from the very first period of the game.
Good job, boys. Good period. Fucking right down. Suze? Good job, Block.
Guys. No, you need to go back. Otherwise I won't have sponsored profit. Be careful in the goalie grease! Watch the blue!
Okay, not bad at all. And now I have to also hear some friends of Austria. Give it up, guys, for Austria!
Seems to be it's very good, but now it's time for another video. Dámy a pánové, teď je čas, abychom se opět podívali na to, co české osobnosti mají za největší vzpomínky spojené s hokejem.
V 85. když jsme porazili Kanadu 5-3, myslíš?
Jsme vypadli se Švédama a hádám, že to byl rok 2008, možná 9, tak to jsem se rozbrečel, protože to bylo po nájezdech a to jsem prostě nezvládl.
Když si mám na manžela. Já jsem seděla přímo za střídačkou, Boston Bruins vyhráli Masterňák, Krejčí a Chára a byl to pro mě hezký zážitek.
it's time to check the score of the game in Austria Arena. The game between Poland and France. And after the first period, France is leading 2 goals, 2-0. France versus Poland. And now it's time to go back here to Prague Arena and remind you and once again check the best moments of the first period of the game between Canada and Austria. Here are the lineups. Dear hockey fans, please welcome back on the ice, Team Canada! And returning to the arena is also Team Austria!
Canada outshot Austria 13-6 in the first period. Jordan Binnington allowed 1 goal to Benjamin Nisner on a rebound. And at the other end of the rink, David Maldlener, beaten 3 times, almost 13 shots by Canada. Have to point out how astonishing the attendance has been here. Czechia is not playing today. It's the middle of the afternoon on the Tuesday.
Glorious outside.
It's beautiful outside, one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And there's a lot of people here.
Wait a second. Let's go.
The tournament set the attendance record in 2015 here in Prague. And they're hopeful that they can perhaps do the same thing this time. Host organization is allowed to make some swaps, a couple, between the groups, so they made sure that Poland and Slovakia were in the Austria group, close to the Polish and Slovak borders. Played back down to the Austrian zone, icing called against Canada, and there's a bunch of Canadian fans coming over this week, not just the families, but the tour operator, Destiny Tours, that does tours of the World Junior Championship, is bringing over about 3 dozen people to come here next week, or this week.
A fun reason to get to Europe, to a very good city, see some new stuff. So
it's a great festival of hockey, this. I mean,
if you're a hockey fan, there's not a better place to be.
Long shot by Bernd. Wolf goes wide. Taking forward his power. Rossi on the line, couldn't hold it. The spins back, being shadowed there by Bunting. Berger Up ahead for Rossi, taken down by Cousins. Bunting back the other way, flips that high in the air, and Wolf is back to knock it down. Wolf grew up playing in Switzerland, plays for Lugano in the Swiss League. Now brings it out. Severson up for Tavares. And one of the things that made that Austria-Switzerland game so compelling is the fact that they are so close. There is so much connection between the two countries. It's called offside at the Austrian line.
Not sure that was offside.
Bagel certainly wasn't.
You do get the geographical rivals as well as the historical hockey rivals in this tournament.
And so many players move through the two countries.
See Connor Bedard back and healthy, no full cage on or full bubble he was wearing with his broken jaw. He wore that for the rest of the season in the NHL.
So his mom went to Chicago a bunch of times this year to make sure he's okay. And she said she had to learn to make blender food. She'd never done that before.
Got a cookbook full of high-calorie, healthy smoothies.
Brought in by Manuel Canal. Canal works it in, shoots. He fired that wide. He had Lucas Haudem on the 2-on-1 with it. Now back at the point, Meyer, a shot that goes wide. Bedard racing to it. Knocked down by Severson.
There was a second period last game where Canada was not very good.
Now a steal by Bedard. In with Paul and Gunther. Bedard walks right in, shoots, and his stick betrayed him at the last moment. And he throws it down in disgust. Long shot taken there by Vukovic. And frozen by Bennington.
Bedard sizing up, letting Paul. Not quite a one-piece stick. So for the one-piece sticks, how many do you think they have to bring for a couple pre-tournament games, 10 tournament games, practices? 2 dozen?
Probably.
For, almost one a day?
And Bedard gets asked for a lot of sticks from
opposing players. Give away. Yeah.
That shot by Brunner was blocked in front. Tanev chips it back to Byram. Back across. Alexiak for Tanev, in with McCann. Tanev back for McCann, just out of his reach. And Brunner looks ahead for Huber. He was flattened there by Byram. Alexiak for Tanev to McCann. McCann works in. Sharp angle shot. Stopped there by Madlener. At the point, Bunting plays it back in. Byram plays it back down to McBean. And there's Bunting with it. Throws it back in front. McCann has the goalie down and scores! Oh, Jared McCann undresses David Madlener and makes it 4-1.
That's pretty. Very, very pretty. McCann, who had 40 a couple years ago, 29 this past season. You think about him and you think about his release. You don't think about his hands in tight, but good job pursuing pucks. Michael Bunting keeps it alive. And look at this hard cut. And then you know you're going to be met at the post by other opponent's sticks. So you got to be firm. And make sure to tuck it in before Brunner or Rohrer could go in his attempt. And McCann is a guy who can put up goals in bunches. So they would love to see him keyed up. That's another goal with Michael Bunting on the ice.
Yes.
He'll pick up an assist even though it's not even his line.
Again, 3 straight years of 25+ goals. Now here's Bunting again. Going to drop that back for Cousins. I see if Bunting gets an assist there.
He will.
He's +3 so far tonight.
Well, you know what? You get sat down, you miss some shifts. You change lines, you go and play a good game and let the coach know you're back in it.
Now Bunting back on it. Cousins. Back to Parayko for power. Mangiapane. Works that back down to Tavares, walking right in. John Tavares throws it back in front. Good save there. Mangiapane rebound. Power turned away.
Oh, well done.
Madlener, 2 good stops there. Power. That shot was blocked by Raffo. The puck goes up and out.
Madlener with a flurry of saves in tight to keep it just 4-1. Oh, and Power can't believe he didn't bang home one of the rebounds in the empty net as Mangiapane gets the first chance. Bunt in the second. And look at Madlener keep focusing on it. This last one, he puts into the shin of Nickel. Wide open. And then Tavares gets the first one. Once the flurry starts like that, the teams rarely readjust and tie up sticks and just keep banging away at pucks until it's gone or it's in.
Louis back around for Tavares. Tavares throws it back in front. Dubois with a backhand shot. Madlener with a save on that. Dubois drops it off to Tavares. Tavares shrugs off a check. Pivots back. Feeds that down to Hagel. Hagel drops that back for Goulet. Dubois, nifty chip there for Tavares, who sweeps it back down into the corner.
But Hagel battles right there to get the puck back. That's how you extend offense's own time. Pressure the first puck turnover before they get it out.
They played in this tournament in 2021, won a gold medal. Another chance, and Binnington makes the stop on Wolf.
McPaul joined Hagel,
coming
over after Tampa had been eliminated. I was wondering what the protocol is on that call. Call the agent beforehand on the night before the elimination game. Do you wait for them?
You talk to the agent. You don't talk to the team until after they're knocked out.
You're not going to call the player and say, hey, just in case you lose. And
you don't. You talk to the team first after they're knocked out. Then you talk to the player.
Why do you talk to the team first?
Make sure he's not hurt. Make sure there's no reason he couldn't go.
Can the player answer that question?
Just tell you what.
No, I'm genuinely curious.
Baumgartner with it, drops that back in the high slot.
You think it'd be up to me whether or not I'm healthy enough? Sometimes it's not, though.
Yeah, Meyer drops that back, and that shot deflected wide from Baumgartner. It also depends on the relationship you've had with the player previously. You've had them before.
Right.
Fish free by Gunther. Looking for Paul. Bedard was loose in the high slot. Now Bedard after wins that battle for the puck. Bedard looks back for Power. They crisscross. Bedard feeds that back for Tanev. Across he goes to Parayko. Winds and shoots. And Madlener the save on that.
Parayko has had a couple productive World Championships in his time.
Yeah.
Led Canada's defense and scoring both previous times he played at the World Championship. Probably won't do that this time, not on the power play. His career's kind of mirrored that, where he was more of an offensive guy earlier in his career. Now, stay-at-home guy.
7 goals for Canada in 18 games played at the World Championship.
That's a lot more forward.
Here comes again. Oh my goodness, he stepped in.
Dawson Mercer, look out below.
McCann flips it high in the air. That rolls wide.
Somebody on Austria's got the squeaky skates on.
Yes.
And about every third shift I hear it, and I need to identify
the old Dennis Seidenberg skates. They're made by a German manufacturer.
But I don't think it's the holders. I've been looking. I don't think anyone has the circle holders. I think it's something to do with the steel. Because there was a tuck blade steel holder that all the Germans wore, Marco. Sturm wore them, Seidenberg wore them.
Lead pass to Bunting. Poke check there by Nickel. Lead pass to Mario Huber. Drops it off to Nisner, who has the Austrian goal. Flips that towards Binnington. He'll hang on to that. 4-1. Canada leads here in the second period.
Now it's time for game on for the school of the game battle. Using the official IIHF mobile app. Powered by the school. Scan the QR code on the channel to get ready for the battle. We are looking for the from Canada and one from Austria. And you, ladies and gentlemen, will vote who is better. Now it's time to start the battle part of the game. So guys, it's up to you. The winner can be only one. And now you will see the roughing from the audience. So Canada is leading 60-30. But Team Austria is doing its best to beat the top of the game. So who will be the winner? It's pretty close each other. Ladies and gentlemen,
On this Tuesday evening in Prague, and a 4-1 lead on Austria in Ostrava. Stefan da Costa has scored. France a 3-0 lead on Poland. Poland promoted last year from Division 1A. And now Gouli brings it back out for Canada. Loose behind the Austrian goal, picked out by Hagel, trying to set it up for Dubois. That just missed. Kept alive by Severson. Tavares plays that back to Gouli. And back in for Hagel. Severson just finished his first year with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Plays that down to Gouli. That's picked off. And Dominic Sverger has it back. Former Spokane Chief in the Western Hockey League. So the bottom two teams in this tournament, the bottom in each group will go down. If Schneider works it and shoots, and Binnington knocks that away. Hungary and Slovenia promoted next year. They were relegated last year, so they get into that relegation cycle where you promoted 1 year.
The up and down with Austria's trying to avoid pitching last year. Schneider can really shoot the puck. Tries Binnington blocker side. Canada's not going to, nobody's ever perfectly clean, but just avoiding the big defensive breakdown is what Canada has to work.
There's Rohrer, a long shot, rebound loose in front. And Baumgartner couldn't reach that. Now Bunting flips it there for Mangiapane. In comes Bunting again. Flips it back to Mangiapane with a shot, and Madlander makes the save.
Oh, two-man game, Bunting and Mangiapane. Crazy eights.
Two guys who have earned everything they've gotten in the game. Bunting chips that down. That's like a funny bounce in the corner where they...
Does always when the goal line extended there.
Yeah, where the ice workers come out there.
Seen that several times. The boards aren't quite true.
There's Alexiak with it. Maybe Alexiak threads that ahead. Gunther knocks it down for Paul. Chip that wide for Bedard. Moved ahead by Huber. That bounces wide of the goal. And here's Gunther back with it. Gunther winds his way out, flips that back down to the Austrian zone. Stapelfeld back to pick it up and moved out by Brunner. And now moved in by Nistner, but the play is offside at the Canadian line.
Connor Bernard understands, and he's dealt with it his whole life, his whole hockey life, that he is the center of attention. He is
incredible.
The focus beyond him, remembering what the start of his career was like in the NHL this year, where he was about 6 teams home openers, ran through Canada in his first week. And we know he's a great player, but it's still supposed to be a little challenging playing in the NHL.
Right.
He'll be probably excited for next year to have everything just quiet down and play, and hopefully play with a better team.
Chicago had that murderous schedule. They played Vegas twice, Florida twice. Nearly going. Here's Gunther with it. Back to Parayko to Power. Started on the road. 5 games. Gunther slaps it down. Here's Bedard from a sharp angle. Shoots, scores!
Did he tell me he didn't shoot that off the inside of the pad on purpose? Tell me, Gord.
I can't tell you that.
Anybody else, I would say he fanned on this shot. He was going short side and put it middle of the net.
He His 5th of the tournament ties him for the tournament lead. That
I need a replay. Good look by Gunther. Slap pass down. Nah, he fanned on that one. He towed it. Towed it. Calling it.
well,
he was looking to sling it upstairs, and he towed it and caught Madlener's left heel. I mean, he's great. He's one of the best we've seen in maybe forever, scoring internationally.
Just to update you, this is his 30th game for Canada. Under 18, World Junior, World Championship. His 30th game.
Yes.
It's his 35th goal.
Goal, not even points.
It's his 35th goal.
And you think about the tournaments he played in, he's generally been underage for all these tournaments, or younger than possible. A couple years of World Junior where he's younger than the average player. Third or fourth youngest player in this tournament.
Can you imagine you turn and lose at the World Junior next year in Ottawa?
No, I can't.
McCann shoots, and a single made by Madlener. Connor Bedard is struck again, and Canada leads 5-1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that on the ice and also right here in the grounds. Let's now introduce you to our mascots that we want to hear from you right now. Which mascot is your favorite? Now it's time to cheer for Paul! Okay, that's mascot Bob, and now it's time for his opponent, Mr. Bobby! It looks like Bob get a little KO, but now he's back. Bob,
Well, in 2006, Sidney Crosby was an 18-year-old Canadian who scored 8 times in 9 games, the most ever by an 18-year-old for Canada at the World Championship.
Okay, guys,
Let's get 5.
We love you both. Movement, ladies and gentlemen.
You run out of superlatives.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
And we should stop feeling surprised. And yet I'm still a little surprised. And now the next question is, well, you know, the tough competition's coming up. We'll see how he scores against the tough teams.
Pretty good in the NHL this year.
It's rarely been a problem in the past.
And no offense to the Chicago Blackhawks, but this team is probably a lot better. Bouncing puck in front for Tavares. That's skipped across for Hagel. A good stop there by Madlener. Dubois. Flips that back in. Alexeyev jumped up. Head back down, icing called.
This line has been really good. Dubois, Tavares, Hagel. Hagel. Elevate. Oh, it's a good save from Madlener. Gets across. Take it away. Hagel's.
On the point, Parayko down to Bunting. Cousins miscued on that pass from Bunting.
A little set play on the faceoff, something that comes generally with chemistry.
Here comes Mangiapane with Cousins. Back across. Cousins got the shot away. And Madlener got just a piece of that. Bunting back with it. Slides that down to Parayko. Kept alive by Bunting for the moment. Now Parayko back for it. Austria's got Finland on Thursday, Czechia Friday. The key game for the Austrians, in all likelihood, their last against Great Britain. They finished against Norway and Great Britain, so
Norway looks pretty solid.
Long lead pass from Mangiapane is knocked away by Brunner. Severson chips that across to Goulet.
Oh, up the middle.
Bedard.
See him. Gunther was gone.
Paul winds in. The pass from the skates of Severson. Bank back around to Gunther. To Goulet. Caden Goulet winds in. Drops it off to Paul. Swings that back to Severson across for Bedard. Banks it back down to Gunther. And Bedard comes swinging in. Here's Paul with a look. Back to Severson. In for Nick Paul. Drops it off to Goulet. Goulet long wrist shot goes wide. Severson back on it. And Bedard brings it back around for Gunther. In for Bedard. Taps that back for Goulet. Cross to Paul. That pass misfired for Gunther. It spins back in behind the goal. To Bedard. Back for Goulet. Shoots. Kicked out by Medliner. And picked back up by Paul. To Bedard. If he flipped there for Paul. They crisscrossing it. Oh, a dipsy doodle by Paul. Severson.
Oh, he had Bedard backdoor. Last touch by Goulet. Didn't quite hit it. That was a nice bit of puck possession.
Jack McBain with it. For Tanev, flips it ahead for McCann. In comes McCann with a shot. Medlin with a save on that. Bouncing puck loose in front, just skipped away from McBain. Scooped up by Bernd Wolf. Up the center ice. 5-1 Canada leads here in the second period. Now a chip play in front, tipped wide by Dominic Sverker. Bain knocks that down. Looks ahead for Tanev, that was broken up by Wolf. 6 to go here in the second. And Wolf gets a nice round of applause for a good play at the blue line. Right back down the Canadian zone. Icing called against Austria.
Canada starting to flex its offensive zone muscles. Has a lot of time in front of the net. Quick little counter punch here by Austria as Werger chips it just wide. Jordan Binnington hasn't had too much to do in this period. Just 4 shots, 10 total, as you mentioned. I'm trying to figure out how much you want to play Jordan Binnington. Will be interesting. They have those 3 tough games to finish the round robin. He's going to play 3 and 4. Probably, depending on how the results go.
Dubois works back in for Tavares. Tavares shoots, and Madlener makes the stop on that. 5:29 to go here in the second period. Canada 5-1 lead at the World Hockey Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Tavares, former and love our stars on the ice. But let's see, what kind of celebrities do we have in the house? Oh my God, it couldn't be even this guy in Prague. Oh yes, this is him, it's trusted. No one just wait for us. Okay, 2 insiders in. Oh yes, oh yes. Alright, come on. Famous gentleman, Ed Sheeran. Oh yeah. I hope we can sing some of it. And even Adele. Oh yeah.
5:29 to go here in the second period. Canada leading Austria 5-1 to score. The last time they met was 10-1 Canada here in Prague. That was the year that in front, the marketing company around the turf put up a $1 million prize for a team that posted a perfect record, 10 regulation wins. It was the first year it was offered. Check, please. Canada went 10-0 and won it.
Is that prize offered anymore?
Yep.
Has anyone done it since?
Nope. Strong winds and shoots, and Binnington hangs on to that. Yeah, don't think so.
So we talked it over, and the consensus agreement is yes, Connor Bedard found on this puck. It's off the toe of his blade. Yeah, he misses it.
He's trying to go high.
He's trying to go off his ear. He went off his ankle instead. But when you're good, these things happen for you.
It's funny how the same people get lucky all the time. Right?
Yes, he's the luckiest shooter ever. Not the best shooter, he's the luckiest shooter.
Arnold Palmer had something like 18 holes in one of his career, and he had one that someone said, that was kind of lucky, was he? Well, I was aiming there.
Except he wasn't. Bedard was not aiming there.
There's Mangiapane with it. In across the line with Bunting. Mangiapane rolls that down. It's going to trickle down to Medletter. He hangs on to that.
Mangiapane trying to figure out, am I shooting? What am I doing here? Am I passing? Am I deking? And the other, terrible to say, but a bit of pressure that players feel in a game like this is to score.
Sure. I mean,
you want to get on the board. You want to play the right way. You want to make sure to be responsible, but you want to be getting the part of the fun. Pick up a point, pick up a goal. If you're a goal scorer, you don't have one yet.
Brought in now by Severson, who winds in, sends it back in front. Bunting just missed on that.
And Mangiapane got a piece before it got to Bunting.
Now back his cousin shoots at the goalpost. Well, that's the big thing about when you play for Canada International, right? You bring, I mean, everybody here pretty much, all the forwards score.
Yeah, what, Brandon Tanev is maybe the only checking forward in the group. Jack McBain.
At the Olympics, I mean, the fourth line's got a bunch of 30, 40 goal scorers on it.
Yeah.
Cousins, rink wide for Severson, and guys who play a lot. Gooley chips at that, still loose in front and flipped up. And back out by Brunner. A defenseman that play 25 minutes a night are going to play 12.
But even at the Olympics, if they're winning 10-0.
Here comes Bedard, shoots, rebound, bounces around in front. They hack away at it. Gunther pulls it free for Paul. Another great move by Nick Paul. Drops it back to Gunther. Back down to Paul. Byram's jumped in. Bedard's fighting for space in front. And now Paul winds and shoots, rebound, loose in front. Scooped up by Mario Huber. Chipped ahead by Thomas Ruffel. Throws it back in front, and Paul got in the way of that. Paul gloves that down, chips it back to center ice. 32-11, the shots on goal in favor of Canada in a 5-1 lead. Canada's got Norway on Thursday, the team that beat them in a shootout last year. Rossi works in, shoots, and Binnington makes a stop on that. In fact, last year, a reporter asked Tyler Myers of Canada what it was like to play on the worst Canadian team ever. And Myers relayed that information to his teammates. When they got their rings inscribed on the inside, it said, worst team ever.
With the gold.
Yeah.
Finally coming up here, Nick Paul was tangled up with Marco Rossi.
Not again. Is Rossi going again?
I imagine Paul and Rossi will be going together. Rossi, I think Paul broke his stick in the skirmish. Bumping into each other there, and push, shove, slash. Not much yet. And then there's the cross-checking each other, jousting with their sticks. And here's a shot off the crossbar. Quick release from Dylan Cousins. Hard to do when you're on your strong side. Grab, turn your body, get it away quickly. There's the last one from Connor Bedard. He also so good at changing the angle, not getting shots blocked by the defensive feet. He pulls the puck into his own, and Matt Leonard is under 3 minutes away of getting out of the second period. He's given up 2 on 19 shots for Canada. As Canada has been dominant, and in a way good, because it was the second period last game where they struggled.
Right.
First period good, second period not so good, third period better. They're trying to get more consistent.
It's funny talking to Cousins the other day about Gavin McKenna, the great 16-year-old from Whitehorse, who was a phenom at the World Under-18 for Canada as an underage player. He said, my younger brother knows him really well. So it's funny to ask a guy who's 23 years old about the next generation of great players.
Number 20, Nick Paul. 2-minute penalty for cross-checking.
Pareko for McCann. Now Power works in. Power. Back for Parayko across to Tanev. And Parayko back across on the Canadian power play. Power to Parayko. Works right in, a little backhand shove. And Matt Litter makes the stop on that. Jared Belmar has scored again for France.
France stretching it out, 4-1.
Up 4-1 now, yeah, on Poland.
A win like that will keep them in the top group. Poland would have to get points in 2 of the games to get more than the head-to-head matchup 3 they've lost.
Yeah. Almost Raffle, but 1 year in the American League with the Manitoba Moose. The playoff MVP this year, the Ice Hockey League. They're banging away at it. Still losing the side of the goalie, score!
Is that the one-handed fire poker for Dubois?
It is.
Quick with the poke.
Like the spatula on the barbecue. And Dubois has got another power play goal, and Canada's got a 6-1 lead.
And I have really been impressed with Brandon Hagel in this game. Just keeping pucks alive, and what does he do in this game, in this situation? Gets open in front, battles for loose pucks, 1 swipe, 2 swipe, they just get it over there. Intentionally getting it over there, and Dubois waiting, didn't quite get all the way over, but still beat everyone else with 1 hand on a stick. Tap it home. Matt Leonard chasing the puck all over the map. We touched on this line in the open. The Cousins, not the Cousins, the Dubois, Tavares, Hagel line, and they have been good. There's been a lot to like about the way they played together through 40 minutes.
Dubois made the All-Star team 2 years ago. He has yet to win a gold medal for Canada.
Strange.
Yeah.
And it's not like he hasn't played well, so it's not like it's not been his problem.
There's a whole bunch of silvers in there. Once again, shoots, he fired that wide. It's part of the Canadian team that played in 2018. They lost in 2019 in the gold medal game to Finland. Now back is Cousins with it. It's brought back by Vincent Rohrer. Montreal 3rd round pick a couple of years ago. Rohrer had that knocked away. Montreal pretty excited, very patient though with David Reinbacher, that 1st round pick, 5th overall. Big right-handed defenseman, plays in the Swiss League.
Montreal's prospect Oliver Kapanen has 5 goals in the tournament, tied with Connor Bedard for 1st now.
That was knocked away by Binnington and picked up by Tavares. Inside a minute to go now in the 2nd period. In comes Tavares with it, swings that down to the Austrian zone. Gave Wolf a little elbow in the face. Now they're wrestling in the corner. And a penalty coming now. They're going to get Tavares for this, for taking the helmet off Wolf.
Tavares,
a roughing penalty.
Asking about the hold that occurred from about the top of the circle to below the goal line on the way into the boards, but not surprisingly, John Tavares goes out off without saying too much.
Team Canada, number 91, 2 minutes for roughing.
So removing a player's helmet, because you have to leave the ice immediately.
Hands! Let him putt! Let him! Hey! Hey! All of you guys!
So you're yelling at Wolf to let go of his arm.
Right.
For 30 feet. He doesn't. And then in frustration, Tavares scrapes his helmet off, which is a penalty. The other guy could have been a hold rough.
Canada, player number 91, John Tavares.
That's a 6-1 call.
It feels like a 6-1 call. And it also feels like something Tavares would not do in a 1-1 game.
Right.
You wouldn't let your frustration boil over in that way. Which is, you know, Andre Tourigny's got a fine balance to worry about in pushing hard, but also understanding the situation.
Yeah. Canada 6 even strength goals in this game. Austria gave up 5 power play goals. That 6-5 loss to Switzerland, including the winner with less than a minute to go to Hischier.
2 power play opportunities for Canada.
Now McCann goes after it.
He's skating well in tonight's game.
He's a useful player, isn't he? Like, he just
winger, center, power play, penalty kill. A lot of things.
And Canada strikes 3 more times in the second period and goes to the dressing room with a 6-1 lead as Connor Bedard is now tied for the tournament's goal scoring lead. You're watching the 2024 World Hockey Championship from Prague.
McKen, Bedard, and Dubois has started 3 goals for Team Canada in the second period of the game against Austria. Now Canada is leading in the game 6-1. So let's check some basic stats from the second period.
mistrů světa ve fandění. Raiffeisenbank, samozřejmě.
A nyní prosím, políbte nevěstu.
Microphone, cross checking.
Oh, snowy! No hands! No, 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 no. No, no, no. Both! 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 Prostitute! Both! Loose!
To play with us. And now it's time to play. Did Austria's best performance at the IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship result in a bronze medal? We were talking about it before the game tonight, and the answer is yes. 2 times a bronze medal for Austria. Last time in 1947. It's a very long time ago, but the right answer is yes. Let's check the second question of 3. How many times has Canada won the IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship? Another number we were discussing about before this game. 10, 16, 23 or 28 times. How many times has Canada won the IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship? The good answer is the last one. It's 28 times. Last year, they are reigning champions at this tournament. And the last question, how many players of one team are allowed to play at a time? How many players of one team? You want the little ones, it's including a goalie. So how many players together are allowed to play at the time? Every single hockey fan must know it. That is 6. 5 players and the goalie, or 6 in the case of the play with an empty net. And there is the end of the hockey quiz. And the winner will be all drawn, and congratulations! Vypadá to na českého vítěze hokejového kvízu, takže Ondrovi gratulujeme a svou cenu si můžeš vyzvednout u sektoru 101 na informací. So the winner can pick up the prize by the information desk by the section 101. Thank you. We've seen 7 goals here in the Prague Arena in the first 40 minutes of the game between Canada and Austria. But there is another game in the Ostrava. It's a game between Poland and France. People in Ostrava have seen 6 goals so far in the game. Poland, France, 2-0. And now it's time to go back to Prague Arena and once again check the best moments of the second period of the game, Canada versus Austria. Tady jsou nejlepší okamžiky druhé třetiny dnešního druhého zápasu.
Austria has 1 minute and 23 seconds of power play time to carry over into the third period, down 6-1 to Canada. Canada will face Norway on Thursday. Then the gauntlet, Finland Saturday, Switzerland Sunday, Czechia on Tuesday. And the host Czechs will have an enthusiastic crowd behind them. There are no tickets to be had for that game.
And for the most part, those games, like, I guess you want to avoid Sweden. They look like they're the best team in Group B, but the greatest perk about finishing high is the luxury of not having to travel to Ostrava to play a quarterfinal game.
And the trick there is that Czechia plays here no matter what. So if, say Czechia finished third in their group,
Keep the sticks on the ice, please.
then the second place team has to go over there.
White first.
See, your off day would be a travel day to Ostrava. You play one game,
And
presumably
then
travel
back.
back for a back-to-back semifinal bronze-gold weekend.
Goal correction. 6th goal for Team Canada at 37.
On the Austrian power play.
Was scored by
70
number
pass for
8,
Baumgartner missed.
Assisted by number 38.
Bain
Brendan
skated through Houghton to send it back down to the Austrian zone.
Owen Power.
Unzerweger brings that back through. Unzerweger brings it back across. And here is Unzerweger, who has spent his entire career in Austria, which is actually not as uncommon as you might think. Decent living made in the Ice Hockey League, especially if you play for Salzburg.
Well, the top team do a lot of winning. That's probably why they play with a lot of national team members there.
Owned by Red Bull. Baumgartner plays that back. Now Severson wins a battle for Hagel, and Hagel risks it down.
Former NHL coach Pierre Paget for quite some time in
and he
Salzburg.
ran that Red Bull Academy for a long time. Helped set it up, in fact. It's an amazing facility. So Tavares steps out. It remains 6-1. 4-2 now in Ostrava for France over Poland.
I've seen some crazy comebacks, especially over in Ostrava. There's been all kinds of overtime games.
The IIHF Congress will meet after this tournament and officially award the 2028 World Championship to France. That'll be Paris and Lyon. That puck is chipped wide by McBain. Power plays it back across to Byram. Now brought in by Mangiapane. Feeds it back to Byram. Mangiapane. Back across for Power. For Byram. Long shot that deflects wide. And fed back down to the Canadian zone. In comes Cousins, races in. Oh, great pad save by Matt Leonard. And guess who's in the middle of poking the rebound loose? Bunting.
Whistle had clearly gone, no goal. Great speed by Cousins wide, and a nice pick by Mangiapane clearing out a lane. He just didn't wait long enough. There was room between the foot and the post. He just had to take it another 1.5 feet wide before Michael Bunting deposited the loose puck in, but the whistle had clearly gone.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Next year's World Championship will be in Herning, Denmark, and Stockholm, Sweden. Canada will likely be based in Denmark to start. As Mangiapane works in. The next year is in Freiburg and Zurich, Switzerland, the 2026 tournament.
Every time you say cities like that sounds great. That sounds great.
2027 is Mannheim and Dusseldorf, Germany. And then 28 is Paris and Lyon.
That sounds great.
Lyon's fantastic. Pareko has a score by Peter Schneider. Schneider busting in along with Baumgartner. Schneider has a look back to Baumgartner, scores! And the Austrians got a goal on a 2-on-1 to get their second of the game.
finish by Baumgartner. Got a pretty good offensive performance so far. Nice pass by Schneider, taking advantage of Colton Parayko. A little loose at the offensive blue line. Michael Bunting gets back, but he's not sure. Do I attack the puck carrier or do I go for the pass? And he gives a big triangle for Schneider to pass the puck underneath. When Bunting reaches with his blade, see how easy it is to slip it underneath and put it in the forehand spot for Baumgartner and Andre Tourigny. We talked about what do they need to avoid? The really big breakdown. The really big chance against Austria and against Switzerland and against Finland and on and on. And you have the puck so much you can get a little bit careless, and they didn't hurt them.
It's the fourth time ever that Austria has scored twice in a game against Canada at the Olympics or the World Championship. Did it in the 1936 Olympics and the World Championship in 1949 and 2004. So
you want to be creative, you want to make plays, but there Parayko's trying to drop it to Bunting when he's got the lane down the wall with no support back up the middle. Now, if Bunting could have read it cleaner, he would have slid over. Right now, we would have seen him put the puck onto his backhand and taken the pass away, but no chance for Jordan Binnington, who won't love his 2 goals against.
Hagel for Tavares. Picked up by Dominus Berger, who plays in Switzerland. Dooley drops it on for Tavares. Schneider drops it off. Berger works in, back to Schneider, shoots, scores! And that's the first time Austria's ever scored 3 against Canada at the senior level.
Schneider just gave a nice pass. This time he's a recipient of a nice pass. A 4-year Notre Dame Fighting Irish grad. And John Tavares goes flying through and takes nobody. And that allows Schneider to cut inside him and take the nice pass from Sverger and rip one off Binnington's blocker and under the bar. Nice play. A couple nice plays for Austria to get 2 in the third. He's going to celebrate. That's probably enough to get Canada's attention for the third as well.
Yes, that'll happen. Paul back across for Alexiak. All those lessons will come into play for the later games, especially the single elimination games, right? Where in the medal round, where mistakes like that can get you sent home. Bedard throws that back to Byram. Owen Byram has a look. Feeds that back down to Alexiak. Looks around to Bedard. Chips it across to Gunther. Back for Paul. It bounces to Alexiak. And Alexiak to Gunther. Alexiak through traffic shoots. It's off the end of Matt Leonard's glove. Bowden back with it. 5 gone here in the open, in the third period rather. Canada's 3rd game of the World Championship. Brought in by Huber. And now Power back with it. For Parayko. And Parayko comes streaking in. Drops it back, and the hard shot by McBain kicked away. It bounces by Parayko and back down to Power. Owen Power played 3 seconds in the first period of his first game back in 2021. And by the gold medal game in the 3rd period, he played more minutes than any skater on either team.
That's the reason why he's 1st overall.
He was draft eligible that year. But back to College of Michigan the next year.
Austrian fans coming to play.
Yeah. For about a 4-hour train ride from Vienna. As Bunting shoots. That's knocked away. such a tradition in so many countries. Brought out by Gouli. Up in for Mangiapane to Cousins. Back for Gouli. Shoots, and a blocker save made by Mad Leonard.
Almost knocked the stick out of Mad Leonard's hand.
6-3, Canada leads in the third.
Okay, guys, let's play our toughest roulette one more time. What's the meaning? Alright, now these are not spectacular weapons and all about collisions of blue beams, but now just to balance things out and a little bit. Here is our piece game. Show us your love!
Canada scored. As you missed it just a moment ago, the third Austrian goal, the first time they had 3 in a game at the Olympics or World Championship against Canada.
Well, for a team that had so much trouble with offense, now 9 goals through 3 games is, by their standard, really very good. Problem is they're going to have no points for those 9 goals. That's the issue. You don't think?
Right, and the issue for them is going to be they need to win the games later in the tournament that they have to get as Dubois feeds that back in front. Just missed Tavares with that pass. Now back in front, Dubois with a shot that rolls wide. Vager plays that back across. Rossi drops it back, and a long shot by Unterweger is gloved by Binnington.
Well, it's been a good third period for Peter Schneider. After the race on a Parayko turnover, sets up Baumgartner for Austria's second, and then he's never play. Draws it over to Zwerger and rips one home. Schneider, who played in the USHL for Indiana, played for Notre Dame in college, a few years in the East Coast League. We're coming over to play back in Austria.
This is, in fact, the first time Austria scored 3 against Canada at any level in men's competition.
First time for everything.
Under 18, World Junior, World Championship, or Olympics. Bunting plays it back around, picked up by Cousins.
No stick for the goalie.
Alexiak moves in. Of course, Bunting is standing nearby. Shot goes up the outside of the goal. You got to think he had something to do with that. Bunting was back to Alexiak. Mangiapane. We don't know that for sure, but it's usually a good guess.
That's mostly a compliment.
Knocked down by Alexiak. Yeah, exactly. Baumgartner back with it. And Byram swings back.
Can't go get it yet. I'm waiting to see when he trusts he can dart out there. Sticks about 20 feet away.
Still doesn't have it. Paul feeds that back to Parayko. Drops it off to Bedard. Bedard swings it back to Zellweger. A shot that goes just wide.
Don't want to pinch here. Nobody back.
Lead pass finds Vincent Rohrer. Rohrer back with it. Drops the puck off to Brunner, who's jumped up. Paul staying with him. Centering pass and a chance in front. And Ali Vukovic turned away in tight by Binnington. Paul pivots back. Feeds it back. Parayko, a hard shot that goes wide. And now Paul back with it. Bedard wins that battle for the puck. Drops it off to Zellweger. Olin Zellweger. Try to feed that back. Paul drops it down to Gunther. Off the bench comes Severson. Here's Bedard with it. Brings it back across the pole with a shot.
Paul took that right up at Gunther's stick.
Gunther back with it, drops it off to Zellweger, winding in. Bedard circling in. Here's Severson. Drops it off to Bedard. Canada changing as Bedard. Pivots back, waits for the change to be completed, just holds. Throws that rink wide for Severson. Now taken away by Rohrer. Return on his pocket pick by Severson. McBain puts it down to the Austrian blue line. Nickel for Ruffle. And the Austrian captain goes ahead. That's picked off by Mercer. And Heinrich plays it back. Out comes Mercer. For McCann. Now pick free for Mercer, trying to reach for it. That's knocked out. No lead pass. A hard shot, score! Zellweger. And it's 6-4. Dominic Zellweger.
Wow. Plays for Ambry Piotta in Switzerland and had a lot of pop on this shot. Then he gets caught on a line change, so Zellweger's got some time. Not really rolling, it goes true. Not really, he's getting closed off from this far out. You never expect a slap shot to go in. Never. He just beats Binnington blocker side.
A 4-year veteran of the Western Hockey League in Spokane and Everett.
Pretty good score there.
A 2-goal game.
And you saw all the eyes on Austria. Check the clock, still tons of time left.
Yeah.
In a third period where shots are 7-4 for Canada, but the goals are 3-0 for Austria.
Twice as many goals as ever scored against Canada internationally. Tavares has to peel back to tag up onside as Marco Rossi brings it out. Well, Austria played a crazy win against Switzerland the other night. Lost that one 6-5 late. They led it 2-0 and 3-1. Here they trailed 6-1. Schneider throws that back. Dubois chips it out. And Rossi back to pick it up.
Goal for Team Austria. Scored by number 16, Dominic Prague. Assisted by number 78.
Berger leaves it there for Rossi, who chips it down the Canadian zone, but as he does, they're going to call that icing.
Been a classic counterpunch game by Austria. Never have the puck,
right.
Wait for a turnover, wait for a bad change, and then just go and hope that you can strike quickly. And they have 3 different times in the third period. I don't know if Binnington was fooled by the stick of the defenseman there. Andre Batter can barely believe his eyes.
Nice pass to Berger. Tied up by Parayko. And in comes Mangiapane. Bunting. Down to Cousins. Mangiapane plays that back to Power. That pass almost picked off by Zellweger. Stephen Strong with it. Knocked down by Bunting, throws it back in front for Mangiapane, but Strong took that away. Berger throws that rink wide. He's jousting there with Bunting. Baumgartner in, shoots, he fired that wide.
An early test of poise and defense for Canada in a game they have been firmly in control of.
Meyer works that back down, picked up by Parayko. Bedard Chips that to Power. The lead pass just missed Gunther. Brunner has it back. And Pareko. That's turned over. And a quick shot there by Stapelfeld goes off a stick. Up and out of play. 6-4. Canada leads in the third.
Dear hockey fans, the official finals of this game between Canada and Austria here in Prague Arena is 40,700. Dziękujemy. And now it's a single victory win, taking guys without the contribution of the most important people, the volunteers. This also applies to the 2024 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. So now, please show your appreciation to Anna Rasmussen, who is our volunteer of the day. It's an international volunteer from Denmark, and Anna is working for accreditation. Anna, from the people of our heart, I want to say thank you. You are the volunteer of the day.
Coach Andre Tournier took that TV timeout as an opportunity to deliver a rather passionate message to his team. As Austria has struck 3 times here in the third period. Got the lead to 6-4.
Those are our world heroes.
Cross-ice pass missed Bedard. Paul with it. Here's Nick Paul winding out. Back to Gooley, across to Gunther, shoots from a sharp angle. It's off the stick of Brunner, up and out of play.
Andre Tournier gathered all the troops and brought them in and got right, not even from behind the bench, got down on the ground level to deliver the message. Connor Bedard first in goals, tied for first in points as well. But it's the defensive side of the game that has got the Canadians' attention down the stretch.
Mercer lays that down to Tanev. Raffle. Link wide to Mario Huber. Pennington up to play it to Gulick.
Touch.
And McCann chips it ahead to Brandon Tanev. Tanev plays it across to Severson. Tanev goes in on Nickel, plays it across to Mercer. Back to Severson, a shot, the save made. And after Madeleine made the first stop, Severson put the rebound up high.
And Canada looking to simplify a little bit down the stretch. Defenseman, instead of looking to cycle and make plays, putting pucks down in the front of the net is Andre Tournier's got a lot of experience in this tournament. Last 3 years he's been here and had great success. Every year is a little bit different team, different feel.
Alexiak back across to Byram. Here's Tavares with it. Vega out to center ice to Schneider. Back is Byram to pick it up. Back at the point. Unterweger, a shot that goes wide. The Austrians in the crowd are oohing and awing with every scoring chance.
Even things that are not chances get their attention.
And now Tavares moves it and shoots. And Madeleine to stop on that. Cousins comes off the bench. Dubois looking for him. Cousins works it in, rolls off his stick. Now Alexiak has to retreat as Schneider flipped it ahead, but Alexiak knocked it down. The Austrians probably don't encounter many 6'7" defensemen in their league. Lead pass to Bunting. Has a look across to Cousins. Cousins seals the wall, knocks that down, centers it. Kick back by Bunting. Mangiapane shoots and a sprawling save made by Madliner. The puck still loose. He sticks out of his hands. Cousins in there. Mangiapane as well.
Power break.
4:54 to go in the third. Canada with a 2-goal lead on Austria.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here now with two guys from Ottawa, Canada, province. Guys, I'd like to introduce you to our atmosphere too.
Good evening, the Austrian fans are giving IIHF to run for money here.
Okay, we love it. So, but now we have a challenge for you guys, and the challenge is from Guess the Song. Are you ready? DJ, hit it. Outdoor, and the song is in reverse. This is the store. Take one. Oh, you know it, you know it. Yes, yes, yes.
6-4 Canada leads Austria here in Prague in Ostrava. France the 4-2 lead on Poland. Tomorrow, Czechia plays Denmark here in the early game. And then Switzerland takes on Great Britain as that shot floats wide. And for Austria, results like this are important for this tournament and what's ahead. We mentioned Olympic qualification taking place in late August, early September. Austria in a group with Slovakia, Kazakhstan, and Hungary. The winner of that group will qualify for the Olympics. There are 3 qualification tournaments taking place at the same time in August. And in a single game shot, could Austria pull off a shocker? Another chance, figured through that in front, just missed Schneider with a pass.
Good defense by Nick Paul, taking Schneider right out of the play.
Schneider back with it, has Schneider alone in front, Schneider shoots, scores! And it's 6-5. 4 straight by Austria here in the third.
Schneider again, taking advantage of another breakdown for Canada. This time, it's a bad change after Madliner keeping them alive. Mangiapane should have ended the game right there. But where's the other defenseman? Portbrego. And a bad line change. Ball going off, Cousins not back. There's breakdowns you can't have happen. Sort of being left all alone. And unbelievably, 4 straight in the third period for Austria.
Schneider with 2 goals and an assist in his first for Austria. A team that had never scored 2 goals, more than 2 goals against Canada internationally.
They lost their last game 6-5. They're trying not to make it higher than that. It's a nice offensive plays. Zwerger to Schneider, great patience, outweighing Binnington. But that is one of his breakdowns protecting the lead you cannot have.
Under 4 to go here in the third. We'll keep an eye now on David Madliner.
Well, now there's no rush. They can wait till there's 90 seconds.
Cousins winds his way in. Plays it back in deep for Mangiapane.
Canada's just got to get bodies back.
Mangiapane. Works it back for Bunting. Here's Mangiapane back with it. Rossi to the line, but not out. Picked up by Bunting. Bunting shoots short side. Madliner saved. Bunting put the rebound wide. Back at the point is Severson. He shoots. Madliner saved. And now Mangiapane, that guy's going to leave the ice. Going to go straight to the bench. He's arguing his helmet was ripped off. And it was steal by Rossi. Waiting for help to come off the bench. And a hard shot taken there by Howdam. Inside, 3 to go in the third. Lead pass to Mercer, jumping in. Dawson Mercer shoots at a sharp angle. Battle to the save. Tanev walks in and fires up the outside of the goal. These two teams did tie in 2004 at the World Championship. Tanev comes in.
Beats up the icing.
And chipped ahead for Raffel. And Tanev.
There's that bounce off the corner.
Bounce in that corner again where the ice crew comes out. And Mercer flips it back down to the Austrian zone. Nickel. Up ahead to Raffel for Heinrich. Heinrich banks it off the end boards. Byram on it. Picked up by Hagel. Up for Dubois. Inside 2 to go now in the third. Heinrich. Up for Nistner, who has a goal in this game for Austria. Madler up to play. That's knocked down by Dubois, but it's squirted by him. And Dubois gains it back. Laid back down by Cousins. Mangiapane's helmet's still out there. Cousins plays it back to Power. Out there with Pareko. Bunting digging for it. And now Rossi brings it out. Up ahead for Mario Huber.
Next time out, Madlener will go.
As Paul comes in for it. Nick Paul. Brings it back out. And Bernd Wolf with it being watched there by Paul. Inside a minute to go. Wolf to Rossi, flips it down. Madlener hasn't left it, now he goes.
Oh boy.
Now a steal in front for Rossi. Backhand shot, scores! Marco Rossi has tied the game at 6. A stunning comeback by Austria. Five straight goals in the third.
Play. Caden Gooley mishandles it. Kicks it right out to Marco Rossi, who makes no mistake, the one guy on the team you want with the puck in this situation. Rossi, clean drag, elevate it right to the bar. That's a tidy finish from Marco Rossi. Madlener gets to celebrate on the bench with this guy. They cannot believe 5 unanswered in the third period against Canada. Stunning doesn't begin to describe what we're seeing.
One of the most astonishing comebacks we've seen at the World Championship. 6-6 the score. Now brought in by Huddam. Dubois with it. An Austrian player's leading. He lost a couple of gloves in his stick. Now brought in by Dubois. And if this goes to overtime, Canada leaves at least 1 point on the table as Dubois picks it up. Down to Tavares for Hagel. Time winding down here in the third. It's sent back down the ice. And that'll be icing with 2 seconds to go in the third, and the faceoff back down in the Austrian zone.
Ganal, who gets tripped with a high stick. Oh, it's an elbow.
Oh, wow.
But that's an elbow because Pariko's taller than he is. He's playing the puck. You know, he's moving his hands up because it's on the boards, and Ganal skates right into it. Hurts, but it's not a penalty. So, Cousins out, trying to
Mangiapane couldn't quite reach it, and Austria takes Canada to overtime. A result that would have been unthinkable half an hour ago.
You never know what you're going to get. You have to play every opponent with focus and intensity, and Canada just dropped too many mistakes. They couldn't be bailed out by their goaltender. They've lost at least 1 point, trying not to lose 2.
Overtime, and who knows what else is ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, our hero in the Prague Arena, people who love this game! Dámy a pánové, zeptám se vás ještě v češtině. Komu se ten zápas líbí?
Astonishing third period for Austria. They strike 5 times on 9 shots to take what was a 6-1 deficit and make it a 6-6 tie going to overtime. Canada seems to have made a habit of this in recent years. They lost to Norway last year. They lost to Denmark 2 years ago. They lost to Latvia and Germany in 2021.
But never after leading 6-1.
No, and this is going to go down as one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the World Championship.
I think of all the saves Madlener made to keep them in it. One more goal and probably would have pushed it out of reach. And Canada now tries to play 3-on-3 for the first time. It will be a lengthy video session for Canada tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for both teams!
If Austria wins this game, it's the biggest comeback in the history of the World Championship. Tavares in, shoot, scores, and Canada wins it. 15 seconds into overtime, John Tavares takes care of business, and Canada wins it by a final score of 7-6.
Understandably muted overtime goal celebration. Tavares gaps out Listener, and the forward can't close on him. A nice release for a goal by John Tavares. And you're back in, which is what you do when you're a forward. And Nisner gives Tavares just enough room to rip it by Madlener.
And that gentleman's reaction says it all. Probably the same way the Canadians feel after that. What was a one-sided game turned into a knee-knocking 7-6 overtime win. Canada now 17-7 all-time in overtime at the World Championship. Austria 1-5. But Austria gets a point, and Canada's win is worth 2, not 3.
Does factor in down the stretch if things get muddied up with Switzerland, Czechia, and Finland.
Right.
But as you mentioned, Canada has not progressed through this tournament cleanly in quite some time. Nobody really does.
Yeah. Canada now tied for top spot with Switzerland on 8 points each. Those teams will face each other on Sunday. And now we'll get the player of the game presentations, and then, yes, the Canadian anthem, but not in the way anyone might have expected.
Now, the best players of each team will be awarded by Raiffeisenbank International, official sponsor of the 2024 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship. The prizes will be presented by Miss Susanna Kolbenheim, the IIHF Council member. Best player of Team Austria, number 16, Dominic Traeger.
Flagger, a big part of the third period comeback by Austria.
It's amazing. They just lost the game in overtime, but it is all smiles.
I think they're happier than Canada is.
100%.
And the best player of Team Canada, number 21, Keaton Cooley.
They scored a goal early in the game.
Please rise if you are able to for the national anthem of Canada. Součástí 87. mistrovství světa v lední hokeji. Díky, dobrou noc. Thank you and good night.
John, that was a bit of a roller coaster. Austria scores 5 unanswered in the third period to force overtime. Describe that final period.
Yeah, obviously we just let some details slip. I think just managing the game a little bit and just how important protecting middle of the ice is. They got some life, built some momentum, and you have to withstand that sometimes. We just have to do a better job of how we manage that. So, you know what, it's a good lesson for us. Found a way to get the win, but huge lesson here early in the tournament, and something that we need to improve upon and learn from.
You mentioned it's a lesson. It's also the first time Canada has ever allowed 6 goals to Austria at this tournament. Where are the areas you think Canada can still improve?
Well, I think we've shown these last 2 games we've been a pretty good team for 40 minutes of the game. So I think it's just the execution and the details. And when other teams build momentum, just the importance of how you manage that and getting back to our game and playing on their half of the ice. For me, it was just the way we protected the middle of the ice and how we have to defend and create layers and make it difficult to get pucks to our net.
Your next game is Thursday against Norway. As captain, what's the message to the team to try and reset now?
Well, I think this, like I said, it's a good lesson. I think this definitely grabs our attention and just how we have to stay with our game and continue to build our identity and how you have to manage the swings of emotion. Teams build momentum, they get chances, they build life. The excitement that they build and how we have to withstand that and play through it.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
It's the first time Austria has ever scored 6 goals against Canada at this level. What stood out to you about that third period from your team?
I don't know. I mean, we know they have a world-class team on the other side, and we just try to do our best. We just try to work hard, and I think we built some momentum in the third, and we came closer as a group, and the pucks went in. So I'm really happy for the guys. I'm really proud, and too bad we couldn't win this game.
You scored 5 goals against the Swiss. Now you put up 6 goals against Canada. What's impressed you the most about these last 2 games from your team?
Well, first of all, we can't get scored on that much. That's what we got to work on first. But it's obviously nice when we can score some goals, give the guys confidence. It's all about playing simple, getting pucks to the net, and I think that worked well today.
You're in a stretch of tough games right now. Canada today, then you have Finland and Czechia. What's the focus during what is arguably your toughest stretch of the tournament?
Ja, wir wollen uns einfach weiter darauf konzentrieren, dass wir einfach spielen. Das ist genauso wichtig jetzt gegen die wirklich, wirklich Weltklasse-Gegner und dann auch gegen sehr gute Gegner am Ende. Also wir müssen einfach gleich spielen, das ganze Turnier und aus diesen Spielen einfach lernen.
Thank you.
Danke.
Make my hair gray again? Right? Trying to make my hair gray?
I have that kind of power. I don't know if I got that kind of power.
You're buzzing. Play a win song here. Yeah, play a win song. Dude's on. Dude's on. We got it. Good win, boys. Lock in your eyes. There we go, Johnny. No win song in here?
Okay.
Okay. How are we going here? Pull back. Okay. All right.
Here we go in 5 seconds. We have seen some crazy roller coaster. So again, 5. We have seen some crazy roller coaster rides at the World Championship before, but nothing quite like this. Canada up 6-1 after 2. Needs overtime to win it 7-6 after Austria scores 5 times in the third.
So where do you even begin? 7 goals is great. Overtime win would feel good. John Tavares, nice goal, but none of that really matters. None of that will be the discussion points for Canada after this game. It's all about how did Canada give up 5 unanswered to Austria of all teams. And there are a lot of lessons to be learned about puck management, about decisions, about line changes, about all the little details that good teams have to have in order to be successful in this tournament. And Andre Tournier understands that there's a process, there's a growth, there's an improvement that has to happen game over game over game. But there will be so much to unpack because the defensive zone coverage and defensive decisions were not good enough at all for Canada. Jordan Binnington won't be happy with the way he played. Now, he wasn't very busy. He had a great chance against them, but he would like at least a couple of those goals back in the third period. That's not what Canada was expecting. Yes, they won. Yes, they're 8 points in 3 games, which is a good thing, but there is a lot to work on. One more game in the warm-up round against Norway before it gets much tougher. Switzerland, Finland, Czechia. They cannot play like that against those kind of teams and expect to win.
Austria had never scored more than 2 goals in a game against Canada at any level internationally, but gets 6 in this one. Next up, as you mentioned, Canada versus Norway. Norway beat Canada last year in a shootout at the World Championship. Thank you.